Welcome to the Executive Show.
Nothing easy.
An inside look at the Warriors front office.
Hey, can somebody give Bob some credit?
With President of Basketball Operations and GM, Bob Myers, on 95.7 The Game. Brought to you by Free Spirits, non-alcoholic spirits for amazing cocktails that keep you in the game. Available at drinkfreespirits.com.
All right, it's time. President of Basketball Operations, GM of the Golden State Warriors, Bob Myers. He has 3 championship rings. Warriors win last night in Houston. They'll take on the Spurs tonight for the Texas two-step. Bob, were you impressed? We knew that UCLA squad like it was nothing. I mean, you guys go to the Kingdom, win the national championship.
Jim Herrick.
And look, you can appreciate the trash talk from Kevin Porter Jr., right? That's cool. We did a little more of that in the game.
Well, it depends on what you're trying to do, right? I don't think you should bother him. Some guys you don't want to get going, and I think Steph, his response was, not one that you'd hope for if you're a Houston fan. But yeah, look, it's entertaining, I guess. I mean, if one of our guys did that to another play, if one of our young guys, I should say, got some superstar going, and we lost, I don't know if I'd like that. But if you're on the other end of it, yeah. I mean, if another guy wants to say something, and I love the competition. If you guys are talking about kind of what used to be, I do think the animosity, healthy animosity, is good.
Right.
There is a ton of the jersey. I don't know. The jersey exchange. I like the fact that players feel like it's a family. I do like that because especially football. I mean, what they put their bodies through.
Right.
But I like that camaraderie. But at the same time, when you're on the floor, I kind of harken back to the Larry Bird Magic stuff where they didn't speak to each other in the off season. They didn't go to dinner. They didn't do anything. So anyways, it's whatever your preference is.
Yeah, but
it won the game.
It was nice to see the Dragon kind of wake up last night, in terms of Steph Curry. A, because a lot of us 49er fans are down in the dumps. But B, he had a rough month. I mean, the shooting wasn't where he'd like it. He seemed a little off, that the team was just kind of like a step off at times. But to have him have that game last night, I feel like the calendar's flipped today where it's February 1st, and maybe we're going for a good Steph Curry run. What was this last month like, though, for him behind the scenes?
Yeah, well, since you brought up the Niners, I've heard, I listen to you guys, and it's when you lose like that, it can be all of it, right? Everybody is deciding, well, great season, or no, it wasn't, or I'm hurt, or I'm happy, or I'm blah, blah. It can be all of it, right? And I think about that team. I don't know those guys, but what a great group to have representing your city and your organization. What a great group of people. That's what I look at. And I know you want to win. I'm not saying, fine, great guys, but I think that matters in the long run. The people that are playing for the team, playing for the city, playing for the community. But anyways, with Curry, yeah, he's hopefully February 1st is hopefully it's the beginning of him kind of getting on a run, which he's fully capable of. But we're he as he goes, we go in the postseason for sure. So thankfully, over the time that he's been a little off, other guys have stepped up. See Wiggins.
Yep.
Poole's been been good. I mean, Looney's been fantastic, just holding it down while Draymond's out. So we've had other guys step up, but yeah, we need Steph to be Steph. And last night was a good reminder of what he can do.
You brought up Wiggins and Looney. We'll get to Looney in just a second. So I think Looney may be the most underappreciated Warrior on this roster. He doesn't get the fanfare, doesn't get the headlines. He's played some really, really good basketball here. But Wiggins, how cool was it to see Andrew Wiggins, a guy you guys took a chance on? You flipped D'Lo for Andrew Wiggins at that first-round pick that has now become Jonathan Kuminga, and the narrative around Andrew Wiggins was, oh man, this guy, he doesn't work hard, doesn't really want it. He gets the culture change, and now he's an all-star starter for the first time in his career. Must be pretty cool to see his development and him evolved in the system with you guys, Bob.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you guys have probably talked to him. I'm sure you've interviewed him, Bonte, as well. Just a great guy. Probably the way he came into the league was asking more, maybe as the number one pick, to kind of sit. They always want you to save a franchise when you're picked one. That's what comes with it. I think he's in a situation now that feels more comfortable for him. And, it's not a secret. If you're happy at work, you're probably going to perform better. He's playing the best he's ever played right now. And he, after he got announced to that All-Star, I talked to him that day, and he said, I don't even know how to feel. And I said, you should feel confident. That's what you should feel. Because I think for his whole career, 8 years, he's heard everything, and he's probably taken a huge brunt of criticism. And he didn't ask to be I'm not. And look, the guy's got a good life. He's making a lot of money. He's a basketball player. But when you're picked one, there's certain pressure that comes with that. And he's had to bear that. And I think for him, when he was asked the other day, I liked his comment. They said, how do you feel? Some people are making comments about maybe he didn't deserve it. And he responded with, hey, this hasn't been easy for me. This hasn't been an easy road. And I love the stories of guys that persevered and kind of got through a situation and came out on top. And that's Andrew. And you can't not like the guy. It's impossible to not like him. He's such a nice guy, good family, good husband, good teammate. So we're thrilled for him and happy he's helping us win games.
And it feels like his rapport with Klay on the court is really starting to step up. They had a little two-man game going, not necessarily last night, but in prior games. And seeing Klay Thompson out on the court with Wiggins and obviously with Steph Curry, I'm starting to see more of the offense start to open up and everyone trying to find their role. But for Klay kind of coming back, everyone's obsessed about the shot. To me, when he went to the rack last night and spun that ball high off the back, I was like, wow, that to me is more impressive than even the shot right now. How you feeling about Klay Thompson?
His body looks good. He's going to shoot better than he's been shooting. He had a couple good shooting nights, made some big shots the other night against Brooklyn. But the way he's moving and defending is we think, ahead of schedule. We think the shot will come, but getting to the rim, like you said, playing through some contact. Most teams, especially more as we get into tougher games, are going to run him off the line and not let him shoot. So getting to the rim, you're seeing some of the mid-range stuff. And just another weapon for us. Take some pressure off Steph. And you are right. He's gone out of his way to praise Wiggins. Klay's an interesting guy. He sees, he just likes real people. I think that's what makes him so attractive to the fan base. He's a pretty authentic guy. I think you guys referenced, or somebody referenced, after he got interviewed after that shot in Brooklyn. How great was his answer? I mean, all he said was, it felt amazing. It feels good. But the way he speaks, right? You guys know what I'm talking about.
Right.
He says it. It's all real. He gives you a real answer. That what he's saying, he means. And I don't want to begrudge professional athletes because they have to speak all the time. But with Klay, you feel like he's going to give you honesty. And so when he praises Wiggins or he talks about our team or teammates, that's gold. I mean, that's real stuff he's talking.
Bob Myers here on the Morning Roast on 95.7 The Game with Joe Shasky, the Butcher, and Bonte Hill. Let's get some things out the way first before we talk Looney. Draymond Green, he's out. Any updates on him and James Wiseman? I know he's ramping up individual work. I saw Wiseman on the floor before the game last week. I think it was Thursday, Minnesota. And he seemed to be in good spirits because I know you guys are looking at the way you're playing. You're 38-13. You've won 6 in a row. But you guys are playing basically small ball with Looney here. Any updates on Draymond in the back? And then James Wiseman, where is he at?
You're supposed to update with Draymond later today. I'm going to talk to Rick this morning after this. See where he's at. We'll put a response out. But he's progressing well. I mean, he's in there working. He's getting stronger. And everything's trending right. I don't know the timing. That's what we'll probably talk about today. And Wiseman, same. Have an update in the next few days, I guess. But the thing with James is he's just got to show that he can get through this kind of ramp-up period, and then he gets to play against people. And we hope that soon. Again, I got to talk to Rick and see where he's at with everything. But I'm encouraged that both are on the right track, and we need them both. If you're talking about what's coming up in the playoffs, small has worked, and that's a testament to what Looney's done. Last night he put one out there at the 5. Kaminga's played some 5. Bielitsa's banged up with the back spasms right now, so we're. I don't even want to voice it, but Looney has to stay healthy. He has to stay healthy. Thankfully, he has. And he's doing a really good job.
Yeah, I want to ask you about the trade conversations because you're not going to give us any specifics, just how difficult it is now. But for a second, I mean, we saw reporter Klay a couple of years ago, and we obviously heard Draymond's podcast, and he's dialed down some of the swearing. But now he's signed on with TNT. I mean, Brandon Marshall was doing media while he was playing, and that was kind of revolutionary. It's no surprise Draymond's great on television and great at talking, but are you a little worried, Bob, at all? Spending some of his time during the season on TV?
maybe if it was a different guy. The thing with Draymond is this is the guy that'll call me, post game or free agency or anything, and he'll be talking to me about who we signed in the 15th guy, and he can't. His love for the game and his competitive fire, he's never going to lose sight of that part. If it was a different guy and you feel like, hey, this guy's starting to lose focus or he's looking at other things, Draymond, we joked the other day, he's doing his rehab and he's yelling at me in the gym saying, you could never do this. And I looked at him I said, what are you doing? and he said, you couldn't do 10 of these. And I told him, I said, Draymond, I love the fact that you just need competition everywhere. He's the guy that you're walking to the game with, and he goes, I'll race you to the light post. And you go, what are you talking about? We're 45 years old, man. I'm not racing you to the light post. Or I bet I can, let's play some cards while we're doing this. It's just constant competition with him. So the thing about Draymond that I don't worry about is his competitiveness, his desire, his work ethic. If it was a different guy, being honest, I'd be a little worried and say this player's starting to focus on things that, are taking his mind away from basketball. I don't worry about that with Draymond.
So now I'm envisioning you, Kirk, Joe Lacob, the whole squad, and then FaceTiming Draymond Green as you're trying to make trades with people throughout the league. But in all seriousness, how difficult is it right now to have these conversations? It feels like everyone's roster around the league, and I'm not going to ask you who are you trying to acquire. I'm just saying, take us behind the scenes in terms of how these conversations go now with COVID, and you have no idea who's healthy nowadays, and it feels like everyone in the league is kind of bunched up in terms of the records. How hard is it for player movement this time of the year in contrast to maybe years past?
Well, Joe, the thing that's changed is the media engagement and fan engagement is so great in that names are bandied about more than ever before. And I'm not upset about that. That's just what it is. You don't really have great sources sometimes. I heard this, so a writer will put it out or somebody will put it out, and that's fine. But what it does do a little bit of is it numbs the players. I'm not saying they don't care when they hear their name, or we don't care as an organization if some things are put out there that aren't true. You don't love that stuff, but you understand that's where we are as a society. That's where we are as a media entertainment conglomerate in the NBA. Doing the job, you have to kind of look away from all that. And we've had years where we've done very little. We've had years, you referenced the Wiggins stuff, that was a lot. We'd try to get out of the tax, make a big trade all at once. And that team wasn't very good though. We were, I think, the worst in the league at the time or close to it. And then last year, you're a little more active and looked at we think we did Watermaker, a few other things. But I've always said, if the team's doing really well, the players deserve to feel some peace. Now, it doesn't mean you don't do anything. You still have to do your job. But if you tell if a player ever says, hey, am I going to be traded this or that, the advice back is if the team's winning and doing really well, naturally a front office ownership group is inclined to stay the course. Now, that doesn't mean if you're bunched up like you referenced, if you're a 500 team, you might look, or if you have an injury you didn't anticipate, you have to shore that up. So it changes, man. It changes really fast. We're on the phone a lot. Doesn't mean we'll do anything. But we like our roster. We do. We like it when it's healthy. And we were 20 minutes away from seeing Steph, Klay, and Draymond. And you guys know we haven't even seen those guys play together yet.
Right.
2.5 years. We need to see Wiseman. And hopefully that's sooner rather than later so we can get 25 games. But the deadline, we like our players probably more than we like what we can get right now. But we'll keep listening and talking.
Bob Myers here on the Morning Rush on 95.7 The Game. Kevon Looney, 10 rebounds in a month in January. He's average here, Bob.
Such a stud.
He's played every game this season. And go back to drafting Kevon Looney out of UCLA. A lot of Warrior fans, we didn't know, man, can he stay healthy? He had the hip surgeries. Didn't have a real offseason here. How blown away are you by the progress he's made over the course of his career? Now he's played every single game, and he's been that rock for you guys down low at the 5 spot.
It's a good story. It's a good story. Somebody asked me the other day when we drafted him. I said, let's be honest. We didn't draft him as our starting 5. We thought he'd be a 4. If you look at his high school stuff and some stuff at UCLA, He can rebound. His best trait was rebounding, but he wasn't. He's a lot bigger now. He's a lot stronger. Even in high school, he handled the ball a little bit. So we thought 4-3. We didn't think straight five. Smart player and learned a lot from Draymond. Beloved in the locker room. I mean, by the coaches, by the players. Quiet guy. If you guys have interviewed him, kind of a hard hat, lunch pail personality. Doesn't get a lot of accolades. It's hard on our team. It's not bad, but you got Klay, Steph, Draymond. You get these big personalities. It's natural. Those guys cast such a big shadow. You have to look a little closer to see what Looney does. But I'm happy that he's finally getting some recognition here. Somebody sent me, I think Raymond, in the month of January, he was in rebounding. I think it was Jokic at 211, Nurkic 195, Vucevic 180, Kevon had 169, and then Jared Allen had 156. That's in January. I mean, and those guys are probably playing more minutes. So he's really been that guy for us in the paint, especially with Draymond out. So good story. He's played some huge games for us, too. I mean, people forget he's played an NBA Finals game. So to watch him grow has been a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, all the injuries he battled early on, and then the injuries in the finals, and him coming back, and he's really endeared himself to Warrior fans, and I'm glad he's getting the love. I mean, he's having a career year. There's no other way around it. Bob, are you going to make an appearance on Steph and Aisha's new TV show about last night? I'm seeing
TV everywhere.
Yeah, celebrity couples. I'm thinking, maybe Bob Myers might make an appearance.
Is that the show? What I think it is, where they talk about stuff behind the scenes in a relationship. Yeah. I asked him when they were filming that. I was in L.A., and he told me about it. I said, what? Because I didn't quite understand. But he said it's a lighthearted look at it. Because I said, what about the kids? He said it's not kind of in-depth. It's kind of a fun way of looking at it. But the answer is no, man. I'm pretty kind of private with that stuff. Not that it's like anything, crazy, but I like to. I don't have Twitter or Facebook. So I don't do anything like that. I come on radio with you guys, and then I take my kids to school and I go to work, and that's my life. So I'm not
HBO Max, Bob. HBO Max. That's big time. Come on.
What about you guys? You guys can go on it. One of you guys.
Me and Bonte just spent a weekend together, basically down in L.A., and I think we're kind of sick of each other. Thank God my dad was in between us the entire time.
He was a mediator, no doubt. SoFi Stadium, the morning roast out there,
Bob,
bed. Hey, have
stadium.
you been to SoFi, Bob?
Oh my God, Bob.
You know what? So my dad, I told you, was Kezar Stadium 49er ticket holder. I watched the game with him. And I said, Dad, if 49ers win, we're going to go. Because our team was flying to L.A. that morning, Sunday morning, in the Super Bowl. We're playing the Clippers the next night.
Yep.
I said, we'll fly with a team. And then I booked the flights back. And we were watching it. And then I had to leave to take my kids back. So obviously it didn't work out. But it would have been fun to go. I have not been to SoFi. I was amazed how much red was in the crowd. That was unbelievable. I mean, was it worse?
Bob,
was it feel like more?
Bob, it was next level.
It was the best sporting event I've ever been to.
We've been to final games, obviously in Toronto, Oracle Arena. That was up there with it.
The vibe.
Because of the stadium, or because of why was it so?
Both, Bob. Like the stadium, the accessibility to the stadium, the concourses are wide,
LA.
The entertainment. It's a beautiful day, and the stadium's like indoor, outdoor, so they have the big roof, right? But it's still open air coming through the stadium.
And I think the fact that it wasn't like, if it was the Lakers, I don't think Warrior fans can invade, crypto.com that way.
Right.
The Rams aren't as solidified as some of these other teams, and so I just think Niner fans just engulfed it. It was unbelievable.
You know what it was, Bob? It was like going to a bowl game, like the Rose Bowl or something, where it's 50-50. Or you go into the Orange Bowl, or Alabama, Oklahoma in the Orange Bowl or something like that. That's what it felt like.
Yeah, people don't talk about that enough. The best sporting events are when you get both crowds. Right?
Yes.
You get both crowds going crazy. Because then you feel that as a fan, they're going crazy, then you're going crazy. The fact, obviously, if you're a Rams fan, you don't love it. But you're right. A bowl. When you referenced the national championship. When we were at the Kingdom, you get half the stadium for Arkansas and for UCLA and stuff. It's a pretty cool thing. You see that in the NCAA tournament in the sometimes at the end. But yeah.
Speaking of tournament, Chase Center is going to host some tournament games.
I can't wait.
And invite Chase Center. I know we got to go, Bob. It's starting to get a vibe in
It
there, man.
is.
You guys won 5 in a row on that homestand,
Drive
man. I'm
City.
loving chasing it right now.
Yeah, memories are memories, right?
Yes.
You're getting to see Curry game winner. You're getting to see Klay come back, and that people say I was there when Klay came back. I was at that game, and the playoffs. We're going to get in the playoffs. You're going to see some of that. It doesn't. You have to have the memories for a stadium, and we're making some. We're starting to make some, so that's good.
100% with you. We got a chance to see the Forum on the way walking through.
that was cool.
I mean,
That was
that's
cool.
such a cool. I mean, I wish they still played there.
Yeah. I mean I went to some early Lakers games there.
Yeah?
Unbelievable. I mean, that you're right to think what you think about that place because a lot of you lose some of that when you have to go bigger and build new. But
Yeah.
I love those old stadiums, the Boston Garden. You have to love those.
Absolutely.
It's different now though.
Thanks
All
for
right,
joining us, Bob.
Bob, you're the best. We'll
Yeah.
see you in a couple weeks.
All right, fellas. Thanks for having me.
Bye.